Grace and peace to you. Welcome to Morning Watch. Happy Wednesday, Owl. That's a Winnie the Pooh reference, by the way, in case anyone ever wonders where that comes from and why I say it most Wednesdays. I'm Rob, one of the pastors here at White Plains. Welcome to Morning Watch. This is where we gather for a song and a thought for the day. Glad you're with us today whenever you're watching. I am at the Trinity Center, actually, even though it looks like I'm here in my room. It's just an illusion brought to you by technology. I'm recording this earlier and dropping it for you here on this Wednesday morning because this is our pattern of Morning Watch to gather together for this time. As I said, this is where we gather for a song and a thought for the day. So glad you're watching whenever you're watching. And thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing. And on this one, you're just going to have to talk amongst yourselves because I'm not here to in real time to say hello and welcome. But I'll trust that Kenna and Floretta and a lot of our usual folks are in this morning. So good morning to all of you. And again, I'm sure that I am enjoying the week at Trinity Center at Salter Path. It's going to be a great time together there. So let's begin our time together by going to God in prayer. Lord, I am not mine, but yours alone. Let your will be done and not my own. Put me where you will and let me serve. In everything I do, let me endure. This is my prayer, Lord, to you, my promise and my vow, strong and true, and the covenant I make on earth, may it be fulfilled in heaven. Amen and amen. So we are going through this Wesley Challenge, 21 Days to a More Authentic Faith by Chris Folmsby. We're asking each other the 21 historic questions that John Wesley did of the early Methodists. And here we are in this section. And now Folmsby organized the questions in this way. The first 7 questions that he's collected dealt with our relationship between ourselves and God, sort of an upward thing. And these questions that we're in right now have to do with our relationship with ourself. Things like, am I prideful, right? Or yesterday we talked about, am I being defeated in any part of my life? And I just wanted to mention one thing about yesterday. When on the question of am I defeated, I quoted Romans 8, right, where it talks, that wonderful passage where it talks about nothing will separate us from the love of God. But I neglected to mention Paul's powerful conclusion to that section. In all these things, we are more than conquerors. So if you find yourself drifting back to that question of being defeated, remember those words, more than conquerors, more than conquerors. But today's question is, do I go to bed on time and get up on time? Do I go to bed on time and get up on time? I find this very ironic because as I'm recording this, I'm looking forward to the week at Trinity Center with the 5-day Spiritual Academy, where we will be on a very regular pattern of the day, centered around the daily office, praying in the morning and in the midday and in the evening. One of the goals, as I understand it, and I can share more about it when I get back, but one of the goals, as I understand it, is to lean into that almost monastic rhythm of life that is so foreign to us today. So I thought that in light of that, do I go to bed on time? Do I get up on time? I would offer up a song that's one of the old retreat standards, right? If you've ever worked with youth ministry or gone on any type of retreat, you may have heard this song early in the morning. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Children of the Lord. sent out a dovey, dovey, sent him to the heavens above, above, children of the Lord. The sun came out and dried off the landy sun came out and dried off the landy. Everything was fine and dandy. Children of the Lord. And Johann, and this is out of the big songbook, of course, has another one that says, that is the end of my story. Everything is hunky-dory, children of the Lord. I've never heard that song. In fact, really, the only thing I know about that song, I mean, obviously I've sung the song in VBS in years past and things like that. But the one you always sing is the first verse, right? Rise and shine. I can remember going around with pots and pans. That's almost cruel. You keep kids up at night at campfires and everything like that. Then you come around the next morning at 6:30. Rise and shine, give God. Yeah. They write books about that sort of thing. But nonetheless, I thought that was a fun song, hopefully, for you to sing along with. I can remember being so tired on those things. Because oftentimes, even after the campfires and all the activities with the kids, the adults might stay up, keeping kids in cabins or preventing late night unauthorized activities, or just to talk. And in the morning, we had to be the ones getting everyone up. And sometimes I'd be walking around like a zombie. Rise, shine, give God glory. Rise, Sometimes you just dig down deep, find the strength to power through the weekend, and then take several days to recover. I'm not sure that's what John Wesley's after when he writes the question, do I go to bed on time and get up on time? Do I go to bed on time and get up on time? Now, this is not about pulling an all-nighter and recovering from it. This is about daily routine. This is a question about health. Folmsby, the author of this little book, The Wesley Challenge, writes that if John Wesley were here with us today and was to talk a little bit about this question, do I go to bed on time and get up on time? He would probably explain that what he's really talking about is an overall pattern of life and routine that promotes health, spiritual health, physical health. We know the consequences of not getting enough sleep, of not getting enough good sleep, right? It's been documented. Driving while sleepy is almost as, or in some cases, as detrimental and impairing as driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Not enough sleep can literally kill us. And many of us, myself included, have struggled over the years with getting enough sleep, with getting a regular pattern of sleep. So, again, don't just focus this on what's your bedtime and what's your wake-up time. This is about a whole rhythm of life. Folmsby quotes the story from Mark chapter 1, verses 29 through 39, when we see Jesus engaged in God's work of healing sick people. The scriptures say that the whole town gathered at the door of the house where Jesus was staying, and throughout the night, Jesus healed many. Jesus was working. But after Jesus had healed many, we see him choosing to find a solitary place where he could be renewed. Mark 1:35 says, early in the morning, well before sunrise, Jesus rose and went out to a deserted place where he could be alone in prayer. So to be in good health may not only require a good night's rest, it might require some times of solitude. In fact, it's really, in my experience, the quality of sleep, almost more than the quantity of sleep. If I can sleep uninterrupted for 6 hours, without waking up or straight through, man, that's like a recharge. I feel more rested after a 6 hour solid sleep than I do after 9 hours in bed with waking up and going back and waking up and going back. It takes our body time to process through a sleep cycle. You probably read all about this. If not, there's plenty of good resources out there. Just understand that when we ask this question, do I go to bed on time and get up on time? We're talking about more than just bedtimes and wake times. We're talking about a holistic view of our pattern of life. Ironically, one of the things about the 5-Day Academy is that it's going to be instituting that. And for me personally, these times with you on Morning Watch are a way of disciplining myself in that area. Over the years, I started Morning Watch 5.5 years ago, when COVID shut us down from meeting in person, and we all began to brainstorm, well, how can we use technology to stay in touch with the people of our congregation and with our communities? And thanks to wonderful things like Facebook Live and Zoom, we were able to do that. The church was able to continue, and we still use those technologies in many ways today. But over the years, I've thought, as some of the online things that we've done have sort of scaled back, in particular the daily. At one point, we were doing 3 or 4 daily devotionals at White Plains, almost doing our own daily office, right? Ray Warren used to do live at 3:13. At 3:13 every afternoon, he would try and go live with Facebook Live. Now, let's not be mean to Ray. For anyone, that would be hard to keep that precise a schedule. I'm oftentimes, a few minutes late after 7 o'clock, even keeping this schedule, right? But over the years, I've thought, well, is it time for Morning Watch to take a break? Or people have asked me, does that demand too much time out of you? Could you be spending your time in a better way? Or is it no longer productive? Is it no longer needed? What kind of, they've even asked questions about numbers and things like that. But the viewership and participation in Morning Watch has been very steady over the years. It's not decreased. In fact, if anything, I hear from people all the time that I have no idea that are watching that say, oh yeah, I saw that thing. That was really good. I've even been out places and recognized by people I don't know, which is strange. So, and that's great. I'm glad. I'm thankful, grateful to God that it's had some helpful and beneficial effect that I can be a part of. But I'll be honest with you. The main reason why Morning Watch has continued all this time and will continue as long as I have the ability and means and desire and inspiration to do it is my own personal discipline. If it gets me out of bed in the morning, it gives me time in the scriptures and whatever book or devotion we're reading together the night before, usually. And it gives me time in the morning and time afterwards. Sometimes the times when I turn off the camera and just sit in the house while Cheryl's still awake or still asleep upstairs and have that time to be in solitude and consideration is just some of the best hours of the day. And I'm not comparing myself to Jesus here, but like Jesus withdrawing into that solitude before his engagement in mission, we need that. And so Morning Watch has been that for me. It's been that pattern of waking up. Now, obviously, I've cut back on the days that I do it to give myself a full Sabbath on Monday. And let me tell you, there's something very peaceful now about sleeping in a little bit. And I enjoy that as well. But for the days in which I engage in Morning Watch, it is a life-giving practice for me. And I hope for you as well. Of course, you have the benefit of watching it at any time. So, the only other thing I really wanted to say about this question of do I go to bed on time, do I get up on time, is that if you aren't the kind of person that falls into that type of routine easily, and you struggle with it, and you find yourself awake at odd hours, it's okay. It's okay. Peace be with you. We're wired differently. Not everyone's brain works the same way. In fact, there are as many different ways that our brain works as there are different tints to our skin, hairs on our head or not. We are all created in the image of God, but we are not all created the same. We are all created equal. But in the family of God, there is great diversity. And that means there's great diversity in our thoughts and the way our brains work. And some folks are just not wired to a regular schedule. And I've seen people do injury to themselves mentally by trying to compare themselves to someone who has a well-adjusted routine. I mean, I never had this type of routine where, you know, the idea of the daily practice and the daily office and the daily devotions does not come naturally to me. It's been beneficial to me over the last 5 or 6 years of doing this. But it does not come naturally to me. So if this isn't, you know, something that works for you, if you're a kind of on-off different pattern of engagement with life and sleep, give yourself a break. As Andrew Peterson would write, be kind to yourself, right? God has a way for you. And yes, maybe it involves the development of a routine. But there are therapists, there are coaches, there are spiritual directors, there are folks you can talk to about discerning what God's path and routine for you might be, for your own unique creativity. Some of the most wonderful people in the world and the most brilliant minds don't easily fall into that daily regimented schedule, right? And we don't want to shut those minds out and those hearts out. So that's my word of encouragement. If you find yourself watching Morning Watch at 2 a.m. or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because that's when you wake up, it's okay. It's okay. Morning can mean a lot of things. All right. Thanks for being here. I'll have another Morning Watch for you tomorrow on Thursday and also on Friday. And then I'll be back live with you next week. And of course, I'll see you at worship this coming Sunday for World Communion Sunday. It's going to be a wonderful time. And we have a concert planned that afternoon at 4 o'clock, followed by an environmental justice fair after the concert. So with Dr. Abe and Bert and a whole host of folks, the MLK choir from Raleigh, a mariachi band. It's going to be a blast at the church Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock. Don't miss that. All right. Take care, and I'll see you soon for another Morning Watch. May you find peace and purpose in this day.